Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. They found Kristi Noem's purse! I know you all have been like insomniacs and fretting. You know, there's the big worries of this world. The war in Ukraine, the tariffs, inflation, the Palestinian-Hamas conflict, and Kristi Noem's purse. A suspect has been arrested in the theft of her purse. This article on the AP does not say the suspect's name other than they were taken into custody in Washington, I'm assuming Washington, D.C., and that the suspect is in the country illegally and they're a serial offender. They had ripped off a couple of other purses in restaurants in the area, and according to this article in AP News again, this purse wasn't stolen because it was Kristi Noem's. It's because she had a nice looking purse. So I'm assuming the person felt that the money was available and there you go. Quote from Kristi Noem: "This individual is a career criminal who's been in our country illegally for years." Okay. Interesting. I could have swore they said on the film, like when they watched the video at the store, that this was a Caucasian male who stole the purse. So I think when you say the person has been in the country illegally, everybody immediately goes to brown-skinned people. Mexican, Central American, South American, that sort of thing. So where's this guy from? Canada? Russia? Some Eastern European country? France? No, where's he from? Where are the details? Let me take a look if I can see if I can find them. And through the power of the internet, I get security footage captured a white man in an N95 surgical mask with dark pants and a baseball cap grabbing the bag before leaving the restaurant. Suspect glanced around the restaurant before snatching the bag, covering it with his jacket, and running out of the establishment. And then, on Axios, they say 2 suspects are arrested in the theft. Mario Bustamante Leiva, who's 49 years old, was arrested on Saturday, and a second defendant who's believed to be implicated in the same pattern of robberies and thefts was arrested today in Miami Beach, Florida. So, Mario Bustamante Leiva, Leiva. Okay, 49 years old. All right. I don't know where Mario Bustamante is from. Is he from Cuba? Is he from the Americas? Is he from Spain? Don't know. We will see. We will see. But you got 2 people doing this. I want to read the energy around the purse theft here. Now that they have suspects arrested, I want to know more about it. Isn't it interesting how when the U.S. decides to apply resources that they can arrest somebody who steals a purse? And, for anybody else, if your purse was stolen, the police would say, we don't have the resources to go check that. Go cancel your credit cards and go get a new ID. No, but it's Kristi Noem. Again, when you steal from wealthy people or powerful people, then the full weight of the law is brought onto you. Now, I understand that there were other things involved in this, like, her Department of Homeland Security passes and things along those lines. Yeah, Kristi, do a little better next time. Maybe you should really try and lock down that secure information that you got carrying around that you're not paying attention to. She should be reprimanded for that. That should be an embarrassment. And there should be a reprimand for that. I mean, how do you be the leader of your department and have that happen to you? How can you possibly ever reprimand anybody underneath you if the same thing happened to them? I'm just saying. So come on down. Let's look at the energy around this stolen purse. Ace of Wands, it just looked... I agree with the initial assessment. For those wondering if it was a drop or things along those lines, Ace of Wands is an opportunity. To me, this is almost like there was an opportunity to take action and somebody took action. This is not necessarily planning. This is coming up with the idea. And if the the stories are true, which they probably are, that this is somebody who's been a serial purse snatcher and such, the Ace of Wands would be a crime of opportunity. It's not like the Ace of Swords or something like that where there's a planning. This just looks like a crime of opportunity. And here's your two people working together with this. That's interesting because and there's your Justice card underneath it. I'm really curious if there is a bigger picture item. Now, this could be a crime of opportunity, but when they go through the purse, you know, you can't picture a scenario where they had this purse, went through it, you know, they're going to take the money out. Obviously, there's $3,000 and it's going to be some other stuff. There's no scenario I can imagine, unless they were like really high on crystal meth the entire time, where they didn't look and see that, oh, good Lord, it's Kristi Noem, the Department of Homeland Security, or heard the news or read the news or anything along those lines. Which, if that were the case, I would have dumped that purse a long time ago and had gotten the hell out of Dodge. You know what I mean? It's like, oh crap, I just stole the Department of Homeland. You got to know that he's coming with this one. Take the cash, get rid of the evidence, burn the evidence if you have to, and then, you know, time to relocate. You got $3,000 or however much money was in that purse. It's time to pull up stakes and go somewhere else because you know they're coming for you and you got to get the hell out of Dodge. And maybe they did that, but if these, if the authorities knew who they were looking for, it was going to be a matter of time. But you better believe that were it me, I would have destroyed as much evidence as possible. I'd have taken my phone and burned it, put the SD card through a chipper shredder. Yeah. Underneath it all, the Justice card, they stole from the wrong person. Oh, where I was going with it is, so if they know they stole it from, there's two things. Get rid of the evidence or capitalize on the evidence on the stuff that you found. Maybe start shopping it around to a buyer. I hope they didn't go that route because that's going to get them in even more trouble. But, you know, here's the full weight of the law and Department of Homeland Security underneath it. In the past, King of Pentacles, what did I mention about you don't steal from wealthy people or powerful people? You don't do that because then they bring the full weight of the law with you. But this is also a scheme that they had gotten away with it and they were making money. The cops, if the cops can't chase you down or find you in the first 5 minutes, you're home free. Home free. Current situation is the King of Cups. Oh, wow. Okay, so now you're on an island. You went from, yeah, this is a great thing to, oh, poopy. This makes me wonder if they're going to start turning on each other. You know, first person to make the deal gets the better thing. So who's going to be, the emotional breakdown? I don't think this is going to be two mature adults. I think these are going to be two adults that are going to be panicked. They're going to be all up in their feels. And they're going to want to cut a deal on that one. Overarching energy is the Queen of Cups. Unless, on the really low energy, they found a buyer. They got this information to a buyer that they now want to keep quiet on. Oh, let me back up. We may not be talking about the thieves now. We might be talking about... this is going to be a layered reading. Let me come back to it. So start with the thieves, but now I'm going to look at the spin. Queen of Cups, overarching energy. Eight of Cups, here we go. And, what are we going to learn? Here comes your illegal immigrants in there, and now we need to do something about it. Okay, I was going to originally start off with a crime of opportunity, a couple people in it. Don't rip off people. Here we go. We're going to spill our guts. Throw our, hopefully get the best deal. These guys are going to get deported and they'll face legal consequences here and in their home country. Okay? Now, let's take it from the Republican spin. This is going to be the opportunity they've got to say, hey, look, we got all these illegal immigrants coming in here, stealing from, stealing from the Department of Homeland Security's director. They're here to steal your jobs and money. Now they're going to play on the emotions of the right, the MAGA folks. Like, all these immigrants coming in, they're going to blow this up emotionally speaking. And we got to get rid of these immigrants. And we need to pass even tougher laws on immigrants and get these people out before they can commit crimes. So this is almost like, look, they all commit crimes. We got to stop these crimes before they happen by mass deportations. Let's get the courts going. Doesn't that just sort of seem to fit? Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I will say, anybody listening to this and knowing how this current administration operates and how the Republicans operate and how their followers operate, that fits in nicely. It's almost like they were given this gift of, now we have reason to deport people. If there was a conspiracy, it would be her knowing that stuff's going to get stolen and leaving for it to get stolen, and somebody telling this guy, hey, check out this one over here. Look at that purse right there. Kind of the setting him up so that, a false flag type thing. That's really conspiracy theory-ish. It seems unlikely. I would say it's more of a crime of opportunity. But let's just ask, is there a false flag that's going on with this? Yes or no? Is this a false flag operation? As far as to advance the agenda? Or is this just a happy coincidence that they can now advance this agenda? The Hierophant. Big organizations. This is a false flag or not? They got the Victory. Knight of Wands. Decisions to be made. The High Priestess. I really would like to say it's not a false flag. I would really like to say that. But I can't. These cards don't give me the reassurance to say that. Big government organization moving forward with the plan. It's got to be secret. We'll come out victorious, and then we can make decisions based on this plan. Is it a false flag? Maybe. What if it was a drop? If this was a drop, there would be the government putting forward with a plan to, Department of Homeland Security and the secrets that are in there. They were successful with it. I cannot, with this spread, and somebody say, well, I think it was a false flag. These cards wouldn't back it up. I'm not saying it is, but I can't, these cards, the way I interpret it, I can't eliminate that as a possibility. I think there's going to be, well, I'll wait till more information comes out, but I would keep an open mind on this one to it being a drop or a false flag. Okay? Because both fit. Even though we had the Ace of Wands in there, which I was initially saying was a crime of opportunity, that doesn't mean that this guy wasn't set up to do it, or this became or something. Yes, there's something happening with this, and I still don't understand it. It may not be the false flag thing. It could be that when these guys had the information, they did something. Okay, once they found out, and it let's look at it this way. Sorry, I'm just scrambled with words here. At some point, they had to know they had Kristi Noem's purse. What did they try to do with it once they knew it was Kristi Noem's purse? Did they try to flee? Did they try to sell it? Or was this part of a plan? There's your victory card. Funny, that was underneath here too. When I was asking, there's a false flag. Here's the victory, and now keeping your mouth, keeping things secret, which was the overarching card. Interesting overlap here. So it's connecting the two readings with the Emperor. They were successful. Now they got to stay things on the down low. But they're sitting. It's like almost like they're sitting in the catbird seat. We're sitting on a treasure trove here. Disappointment. I wonder if this might be one of those things they were successful on. Now they're down low because oh crap, they realized after they got it, they got the wrong. Basically, they stole the wrong thing. There's that Ace of Wands again. I really wonder if they took an opportunity with this. Now, if this was a conspiracy, it could be that they were set up to take this. This guy was given a deal to steal this and do something with it. Heartbreak, betrayal. This could also be if, a family member turning them in. Working on the money. Things happening quickly. Something happened. They were successful and they were trying to keep things quiet. I don't know what this disappointment here is. This could be a family member's disappointed in their actions and then knew who was involved and ratted them out for reward money, calling it in. So this could be a betrayal of somebody in their family, tipping off the police. If they were trying to sell the secrets, here's your opportunity. I don't think they... Trying to make money by transmitting things. I'm still really confused by this, guys. I'm sorry. I'd love to give you something more definitive. We'll find out more. It's not an exact science. Tarot reading is not an exact science. If this spread could mean that they were tipped off, the authorities were tipped off by somebody looking to collect like a reward, and it would be somebody close, family members or something like that, girlfriends, whatever. That could be one version of this. It could also be that when they stole this, they were trying to find a secondary market to sell this to and transmit that information. And they got caught in there. 3, if it was a false flag operation, if it was a false flag, they set up the guy who stole the purse, or the person who they were working with. One of the two of them is a plant, is a spy, so to speak. Now, I didn't get the Page of Swords, which would only be a spy card, but it might be one of those ones where they want to get information. They want to get some information out. Now, that's kind of a conspiracy. I don't know. I'm just not really getting that. I think I'm trying to force that in there. I'll leave the drop out of it for right now. The false flag, it's possible, but I think the false flag is going to be more the messaging that is going to come from this event. So in other words, what I'm saying is the right in the Trump administration's going to take this opportunity to really hammer home on folks that are undocumented in this country. I'll be curious to see where this guy is from. Maybe I could find out. Hang on for a second. Well, Facebook is fun. Apparently he is from Chile. He was arrested for several robbery or burglaries or something like that, snatchings in London about 10 years ago. 2015 for stealing $28,500 worth of items. And he is expected or suspected of being part of a large East Coast robbery organization. I don't know if it says he is an illegal immigrant. And the fellow that was arrested in Miami apparently is also illegal migrant, another undocumented worker in Miami. And then there was one humorous comment that said, imagine stealing the purse from the Department of Homeland Security, whose primary job these days is to deport people who are in the country without documentation. So, yeah, it may not be the false flag could be they set this guy up so that the Trump administration could play it up, or it could just be serendipitous that this guy steals it, they catch him, and he happens to be an undocumented person in here with a criminal record in a crime ring, probably involving other people who are undocumented with criminal records, to bolster their message. I think that's where we're going with this story. Expect that the Trump administration is going to lean heavily into this one. They will try and keep it in the news cycle so you stop questioning tariffs and Pete Hegseth and everything else that's going on. So that's somewhat enlightening. Again, do I think it was a drop per se? Not really. I'm not really not getting that. Even if I try and force it, I'm not getting that. I just think either this guy was set up so the Trump administration could do messaging, or this guy just stole for the wrong person at the wrong time, and the Trump administration is going to work heavy on the messaging. All right. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I do appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video.